Hi guys, you're welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Yvonne Princess Shabangu. If you are new here, you're welcome to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And voila, you're part of the graceful, the beautiful, and the wonderful family. You are welcome to another episode of Employment Wednesdays. Like I promised, every other week, I'm going to try and bring you guys guests, people that you're going to learn from, people that are going to teach you and give you the right tips for the different types of jobs that you guys are looking for, right? So we've got a very special guest, my sister, my love, my honey. But she's not my sister. I'm also Lenny. So I'm going to give her the opportunity to introduce herself, but also just to let you guys know. So basically this video, let's make it a surprise act. So you're going to decide the topic of the video as the video goes on, right? So there you have it.
Okay.
Tell us about yourself. Tell us who you are, what you're... Okay, just tell us who you are. Then we can go into the rest of the questions.
All right. First of all, thank you so much. And hi, everyone. My name is Ntabi, aka Real Talk with Ntabi. So, what do I say about me? So, I'm a creative designer, professionally so. I graduated from TUT. I now work professionally as a web digital developer. I have my own business, IL Designs Creative Approach, where I focus mainly on branding. I'm a love of life, love of God. I aim to empower and inspire you to be the best version of yourself. A transformation is the biggest thing for me. And hence I started even a foundation called Real Talk with Ntabi Foundation, where I really wanted to see change amongst ourselves as individuals. So if I'm good, you also need to be good, if you get what I mean. Can I stop there?
You can.
Okay.
That is like a mouthful, guys. Some people are OGs of note. Hey, get her CV. I'm sure she left out some things, but if you really want to know more about her, you should check out her YouTube channel, Real Talk with Ntabi. She really shares a lot on her journey, a lot on self-empowerment, self-development, and just growing as a person. So, if that's your type of content, or if you enjoy my content, I'm sure you will enjoy her content. So let's do some icebreaker questions. What was the worst job that you've ever done in your life where you were like, Mudimo, calm down?
Okay, so side hustle or just
a job?
Where
you had to work, where you felt like, really?
Phew. I want to use two scenarios. Can I do that?
Yeah, you can.
So, just after finishing my matric, I had a job that was advised by my cousin. We were packing fruits.
Okay.
I forgot what the company was. It was a firm type of thing. We were packing fruits there. It was very cold. Okay. I hate winter today because of that job. Another one, which is now after graduating professionally, I would say, I don't want to mention companies, but it's still in the profession that I'm doing now, which is web development, programming. That's what I do. I design websites, focus on social media, digital marketing. I worked for a company. Like I said, it's a tourism company. That's all you need to know.
Sure.
But I was still doing web design and development there. But I was so fatigued. I think for me, that job really drained me. It kind of made me question the skill that I had to say, do I really want to be here?
Sure.
And actually, it wasn't because of my skill, but it was the culture of the company.
Sure.
So that was, I must say, the worst job for me because it almost costed my life.
Okay.
I was, it's not a diagnosis or something. So my doctor told me that I've got symptoms of stroke.
Yeah.
So I almost got stroke because of that job.
Sure.
So for me, that was the worst job for me. But in the sense of the environment itself, not necessarily
the actual job. The environment wasn't as great.
Yeah, it wasn't as great. I wasn't sleeping. I was relying more on energy drinks. I could drink an energy drink in the morning, lunchtime. just after 3. Even later at 5, because when I get home, I had to do my own business. So, yeah, I think that was the worst one. But it almost killed me.
I'm glad. I'm glad that you're alive, and I'm glad that you chose yourself, because sometimes when we look for jobs, we get lost in trying to please companies or please our superiors, forgetting that our health is equally as important, forgetting that when something happens to you, they're going to cry for a week or 2, and then after that you'll be replaced. So in every job, in every choice that you make, in as much as you want to learn, you want to get experience, I think it's always important to put yourself first, and your health. It's very important, because if you're not healthy, who's going to enjoy the money that you're making? And then I don't know if you'll be comfortable sharing this with us, but what was the biggest check you've ever received? Range. You don't have to say the specific amount whereby you're like 20,000, because also I want a person who wants to go into web designing to get an idea of how much they could possibly get paid, and then also what's the lowest. So maybe you can minimum, max, like maybe minimum 2,500, max 25,000, or whatever the case may be. But
minimum I've ever received and the maximum.
Yes.
Okay, so the minimum I've ever received was between 8 to 15.
Okay.
Thousand. And then that is like your basic
web design.
If you are a junior, basically. And then for advanced or intermediate, you're looking at between 30 to 40.
Oh, okay.
But I must say it's negotiable depending on. But in terms of design itself, you're looking at that range. If you are now advanced, you're looking at around 50 going up. But for me, I'm comfortable to say the max is 40.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's the design.
Actually, that's decent. Maybe I think I need to reconsider careers. Because, people always say lawyers bowl out of control, but guys, I've had real big figures, Because with lawyers, you do make money, but also you have to be at a bigger company and later in your career. It's not like you make money from the get-go. And then one last icebreaker question. Physical or virtual interview, and why?
Physical.
Why?
Because there's a connection. I feel like if I'm sitting with you like this, having a conversation, I'm here. I'm fully present, as opposed to being virtual. Something can be destructive. By the way, there's nothing wrong with visual, because I'm in a digital space and I'm actually driving people towards that. So I would still choose a physical, especially sit downs like this.
Sure.
If it's just a professional work where we're now doing work, we can do visual, but I'll stick to physical
interviews. Okay.
Yeah. Technology is making us change our minds,
I read somewhere that one of the things, technology can make things simpler and all of that, but one of the things that technology cannot give us is connection.
It's connection.
Connection. Because they were talking about how the question was, are robots going to replace lawyers? And then they're like, okay, no, robots can do as much as they can, maybe get the work done quicker, but sometimes clients want to sit down with a human being who understands their problem, not to say, okay, this robot is structured to answer me a certain way, but they want to know that somebody is applying themselves to their issue, So I want us to talk about being employed, you being an entrepreneur, also making you possibly an employer. How do you navigate running your own business and having to go and answer to somebody? Because I'm humble, but I'm not sure if I'm humble enough, where I know my business is doing well, but also I have to wake up and be like, hi, good morning, sir.
Okay, I must say it's really not easy.
Sure.
But it's worth it in the long run. I think for me, I guess I should start with being employed because that's how it started. I think for me, the company values, the culture itself, the environment itself plays a huge role in terms of me being there. Whether my skills are beyond or I'm getting paid more than what I thought I would get, I believe that the culture has to align with me as a person.
Sure.
I'm a person before an employee, you know, and respect is very important for me.
Sure.
Because I know for a fact that when I do my work, I deliver. I put in the effort. So for me, it was really never an issue adjusting into that. I think I really, you know, you get out of high school, you go to university, you graduate, you want a job. And for me, it was an excitement. Until, of course, later in the years, I realized that actually certain things that I'm doing here, I can actually do it on my own.
Sure.
But I wouldn't have realized that if I did not, you know, be employed.
Sure.
And I kind of grew my skills from there. Even me personally on my own. But I think the biggest part is also being in that environment so that even when I own my own business, I can understand how things are done.
Sure.
So I think that's what taught me the skill of understanding how business works. When I started my business, I was still employed. I was still employed doing my business part-time, which was quite tricky, by the way, because I had to juggle two things all at once. Hence, earlier I told you that I had symptoms of stroke because I had two jobs, basically. But then that was not necessarily the main part. But the truth is, if you have two jobs and you are not able to manage them properly, you're bound to, you know, be fatigued and all of that. Because at the time, I was the only employee. I was designed. Listen, I didn't have people under my company that I was working with. I think that was the biggest thing. So I later decided to resign. But obviously not necessarily because I wanted to run my company full time. I wanted to wait it out a bit because the design business, if you're interested in, you know, in going into design, you have to understand that as much as it's big, you need to really build your portfolio. Huge. Like, you need to have a good portfolio of the work that you've done. So I really needed to balance it out. Work, do my side hustle, at the same time work for a company so that the projects that I do can add up to at least the level where I can stand on my own. But standing on your own is also not a difficult thing. You can actually do it. There's nothing wrong. If I was chasing a lot of things at the time, I must say, I had too many projects that I was doing. So and it's not like I like money. Of course, actually, I do like money. Hey, I like money. But what I'm saying is that I had responsibilities. So that also pushed me. But my passion was just the top of the list. The love of design was just on top of my list. So, yeah, definitely that's how I can... Yeah, I hope I answered the question. Did I?
You did.
Okay.
You did.
Okay.
So basically what I'm getting is, when it's all said and done, is that being an employee actually helps you become an employer. You know, there's certain things that you would never know unless you're an employee.
Yes,
you
definitely.
know.
And I think, sorry to jump in, I think I didn't point out that when I decided to focus more on my business and starting to have people working with me, see, that happened, and I had to apply things that I've learned when I was employed. But also I had to unlearn certain things because sometimes what you learn somewhere else is not... it doesn't work for you. So I had to unlearn that and create my own values for the company. And that's how I think I still managed to, you know, still have a team. I mean, my team is mobile, by the way. we don't have an office at the moment.
Sure.
And that's the beauty of being in the digital space. You can work remotely wherever you are. So that's how we currently work. So yeah, and everything is great so far, actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. So, what inspired you to start your own? Okay, wait, before I go to your inspiration, have you always wanted to be a web designer or a web developer? Has it always been your passion from a very young age, or it's something whereby you went to school, you're like, okay, this is an opportunity available, let me go for it? What made you choose that career path?
Okay. I actually love that question. So I didn't think I would be in this space.
Sure.
So when I finished matric, or while I was in matric, my thoughts were, I'm going to be a psychologist.
Ooh, okay.
A clinical psychologist,
Okay.
specifically. So after doing my matric, I passed, but my marks were not that great. I mean, I wanted to go to Wits, all these nice universities, but my marks were not the greatest. I was fortunate to go to University of the Northwest, but I had to do more like I don't know if it's called a bridging course.
Oh, okay, it's a bridging course.
Yeah, where I had to like kind of get my marks for me to be able to apply for like bigger varsities or universities that will accept me. So when I did the bridging course, there was a course or a module called computer science, right? Computer science, it's a whole degree on its own, but I was doing the basics at the time. Obviously starting with computer literacy, and then I just got interested. And there was this lecturer who did systems and designs. That's when I started creating my first website.
Sure.
Very first website. And I kind of got intrigued by the colors, the visuals, even the programming itself. I felt like, C++, C#, those are fancy names,
Yeah.
I was interested because it's something that I've never done before. And yeah, I guess that's where it started. But I wanted to be a psychologist.
Okay.
It changed when I got to university. So, and that's why I also sometimes say that if you find yourself in a position where you thought of doing this career and then you are exposed to something else, don't feel bad about it, because maybe you hadn't discovered your true self.
Sure.
So I feel like I discovered my true self when I did web design.
Okay.
And psychology, I think I'm leaving it because I do public speaking and my YouTube channel. So
Yes.
I guess it's still
So
a part of
you're
me
living
in
it
a
out.
way.
No, I hear you. That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
So, to a person that wants to study web design, what are the requirements? What marks do they need? And are they bursaries that fund that, or you have to rely on NSFAS, or how's the process like from applying to get a spot in university, and after getting a spot in university, then after graduation, is it easy for you to get a job?
Okay, so I'm not sure how things are done now, but I would advise you to obviously check with universities the criteria that they have now. But when I applied, obviously I did maths and science.
Sure.
Maths and science, I think, allows you to get in.
Yeah, okay.
So I think the bridging helped me very much because that was able to get me into a university. So, but I went to University of Technology after Unibo,
Yes,
all right?
okay.
After University of the Northwest, I went to University of Technology, which for me wasn't really that bad, but an average of 60. I don't know how it's calculated now, honestly. Kibodi 7, kibodi ing, I don't know. But an average of 60 in your maths, in your science as well. But even if it's lower, you stand a chance,
Sure.
right? You stand a chance. Let's say, for example, you haven't done maths and science, but you've got like maths literacy, maths literacy, you can still qualify in a way. I think what they do, they kind of put together all your average marks, and get a certain mark.
Sure.
Honestly, I don't remember that mark exactly, but I'm thinking if you are around 60, you are good to go for your maths and science. Other subjects, it really doesn't matter. It doesn't matter much, unless of course in your high school you're doing like things like CAT. There are high schools that do CAT. How I wish I was a part of that school, but because I only started doing computers in university. So yeah, that's basically that. So yeah, I'm thinking that, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. I really don't want to jinx that. So yeah, I think do your research as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then is it easy to get a job?
Oh yes, my apologies for that. So it's very easy to get a job when it comes to design. Apart from you starting your own business, I think the nice thing about web, because I specifically did web applications and development. So on that, I was majoring in web. I was majoring also in part of programming, right? So there's a web, which is the visual part of it, and there's a practical, which is programming, right? Coding and all of that, if you may call it that way. So with that, you need the practical. So how it works is that when you graduate, you will need to do an in-service training. Where you do practicals, where you can showcase, maybe you can do a project. By that allows, like, that lends you a job basically, because when you get to an interview for a web designer role, they'll ask you, what have you done? You need to produce something that you have done. So that's why it's also important when, you have to do in-service training, because sometimes you do it in groups. So when you do it in groups, it's very important that you know everything, because when you're going to produce that project to an interview, for example, they'll probably ask you question by question, like, how was this done? You need to know every part. Even if you did a certain section, you need to know everything, be able to know every practical possible. So it's easy to get a job once you have projects that you can show. So what you know theoretically won't really help much. It's basically what you can do practically in the web space.
Is it affordable to study web design?
It is affordable. It is affordable. For me, I'll speak for myself because I went to TUT. I think TUT was kind of affordable. I'm not sure if it still is at the moment, but for me it was quite affordable. And also you asked if you are able to get a bursary and all of that. When I did my second year, I got a bursary. So you can definitely get a bursary. Applications, you just apply for a bursary. There's no issue right there. But for me, it's because when I went to TUT, the first term, I passed most of my modules with distinctions. So meaning it kind of opened, like that gateway to that leeway for me to get that bursary. So your grades have to be good as well. You can't just apply for a bursary if your grades are not good. So from second year throughout, they were able to pay for my fees, and the remaining amount was also able to cover, if maybe there was fees that were outstanding for the first year, they were able to cover that. I could even have some change to just enjoy for myself. So yeah.
Nice. That's quite interesting. I love how when you mentioned in-service training with you guys, how it's a particular project whereby you show evidence of your work, and like in law we do articles, but you get to go to work, like you do the job of a lawyer, but obviously under supervision. But with you guys, it's like you have to build a specific project and put it on your portfolio. I think it's very interesting how like different industries do the same thing but different. Like how we need in-service training, but we call it articles, and you have to serve for 2 years or 1 year. And with you guys, it's like in-service can be done in groups, and also it's mainly about you creating a specific project and showing that you can actually do the job, right?
Yeah, and it can be it can be two ways. You can be hired by a company. So in a space of 6 months or a year, you can produce something that you've done.
Sure.
So it's not necessarily just doing it in a group. So even if you get a job somewhere, that counts as an in-service training. Yeah.
Okay. No, that's nice. I love it. So if you guys are interested in web design, it seems like a very interesting course, and it seems like it pays and fun. And if you're a creative person, you're curious, you wanna, try out something new, I think you can give it a shot. And also, given that it's apparently affordable, you can look it up at TUT. I also know UJ really has affordable fees. You can look it up at UJ. I'm not sure if they offer it, but different universities. And just always remember to do your research, right? In wrapping up the video, I want you to share with us. Okay, so firstly, share with us 5 things that you've learned about running a business. Just 5 short sentences.
All right. So the first one, don't be afraid to let go of clients that are not paying you.
Okay.
Number 2, it's business. Like your business account and your personal account are 2 different things. Don't you have to pay yourself. Don't take money from your company and do your things, entertainment, whatever.
Don't steal from yourself.
That's the word. Number 3, you should work more than your team. Okay. As a business owner, you should work more because you have the vision for your business, for your brand. Number 4, what I've learned is that you cannot do it alone. I think often as business people, we have ideas and we think we can run with them, and you alone, you can't do the paperwork. I mean, I've done that, but in the long run, I couldn't. Especially if the other things, you can't grow a business if you always focus on the paperwork, the clients, getting clients, looking for emails, responding, doing the work. Someone has to do it so that the business can grow. Otherwise, it won't grow. The 5th one, invest in your business. I think that's something that I've learned. Invest in your business. It can be with the money that comes in. It can be with you going to different events, different business network events where you can learn, you can grow your network and just, build your brand better. So yeah, invest in it in every way possible.
Okay. Those are some gems. I hope you guys were listening. I love the one that says you can't do it on your own. No man is an island. We need one another to actually build a successful empire. Anyway, as we close, I'd like you to, what would you say to a person that is currently searching for employment or a person looking to start their business?
All right. So for the one looking for employment, I would say don't forget the fact that for you to get something, you need to put in the work. So put in the work meaning those applications that you're sending. If they don't respond to you, don't give up. Don't think that it's the end of the road. Keep going. I went to one company, went to 8 interviews. 8 interviews. Like 8. They called me. 8, and I still didn't get the job. But I didn't give up. So don't give up. Just keep looking. But while you're looking, find out what you like. Don't just apply for anything. I think what we do as people is that we take whatever that we find, not realizing that the more the experience, it's going to kill your experience, because by the time you get that one thing that you love the most, you'll be a beginner. When you could have done something that you love and started with it and ran with it, so that in the next 3 years you are at another level, at a senior level for that matter. That's why you don't grow. So take note of that while applying. And yeah, just be aware. I don't think we talk about this a lot, but be aware of applications that are fake and all that, because sometimes we will desperately need a job. There are posts out there, but they're actually not real. So just be on alert. Find the legit way to do it.
Sure.
Yeah. And to start a business. Okay. I'm not going to discourage you in any way, but all I'm going to say is that you know the vision for your business, and you need to be prepared to gain money and to lose money.
Sure.
You need to be prepared that the investment that you put in, if it's not coming out, it means you'll have to either twist your strategy or find another way of doing it, or maybe make peace with the fact that your business is not legit, or maybe it's not meant to be. And know when to stay or stick it out, or know when to let it go. Because sometimes you stay, you have an office, you're paying for that office, there's no business coming. The next thing you're using even your savings, your pension fund, the next thing you're bankrupt. You don't want that. You're selling your cars, you're selling your properties. You don't want that. So I think start, but also know your why in your business. Know why you want to do it. Know there's what we call agile, not agile, but the golden model rule. So it's why do you want to start a business? How are you going to start it? What exactly are you going to do? And how are you going to do it? So you need to ask yourself those questions before you even start. What problem are you trying to solve? Get that right. Once you get that right, then you sort it.
Nice. I love that. I think the biggest two things I picked up is why. Your why is very important. I love that. And then also the other thing, the fact that you need to know when to stop. You need to know when to let go. I think if anything, God is just teaching me this thing: let go, unlearning, and accepting change. Because sometimes we hoard things, but you find that at the time God is trying to bless you with something new, but he can't, because you holding on to something so old. You're holding on to old wine, and you can't mix old wine and new wine. So yeah, guys, thank you very, very, very much for watching, and thank you so much for joining us today. Such an honor being in your presence, and I learned a lot today. And one day when I start my own business, I'll be happy to say, hey sis, please design the website for me, and yeah, man, I really love what you shared. Anyway, guys, without wasting any much of your time, do not forget to be light, do not forget to be love, and God bless you. And do not forget to like, subscribe, share, and comment. Cheers.